What's up guys, JonJonTheWise here, and we got another Cyberpunk video for you guys. This time we're going to be talking about guns. Guns are so important in the Cyberpunk universe. You have to get it, you have to use it, and almost everybody's packing in the dark future. But the thing about guns is, there's a little bit of nuance to it, and there's a lot of history, and there's a lot of things that you can do with guns that you probably wouldn't think of on the surface. So I'm hoping this video gives you guys information on how I use guns in my game and my opinion on how guns should be in the Cyberpunk universe. But before we get into that, make sure you guys join our Cyberpunk fan Discord channel. The link will be in the description below. It is a community of like-minded hobbyists that love Cyberpunk 2020 and Red and probably 2077 when it finally decides to come out. And make sure you guys are a part of my podcast, Tabletop Cyberpunk. Subscribe to the podcast. It's on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else you can get podcasts. Tabletop Cyberpunk, where I talk about the tabletop game with my buddies, and I have guests on lately and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun, all right? And finally, make sure you guys join me on social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, JonJonTheWise, and let's connect, talk about Cyberpunk, and so on. Before we dive deep into guns, we got to talk about its history. Cyberpunk is a world of violence, and most people have to protect themselves with whatever means necessary. After the collapse, the police just couldn't get to any of the problems that were out there, and then there were just issues that the police would just not come for. They enacted a law allowing people to carry guns within their person for self-defense, and because of that, guns became a hot commodity. Every brand was making guns, guns were readily available, and then there was also the quality of guns. There's different ranges of luxury to common things that you would find on the streets. So what this means is almost everybody that you see on the streets is carrying a firearm. Whether it's in a city or a rural area, everybody has to protect themselves from the crazy bandits, nomads, and all the booster gangs that are around Night City. Now let's talk about guns and their availability. Because as you're making your character in Cyberpunk, and as you're imagining the world where the Cyberpunk NPCs live in, you gotta understand where they get guns, how they get guns, acquire it, and all of that. The most common ways to get guns are the streets, legal vendors, scavenging, or maybe you work for some kind of corporation that gives you a welcome package with a 9mm tucked into it. Either way, guns are available, they're around, and people have them and people are selling them, they're trading them, they're making them. Guns are a big part of the dark future. After that, you gotta set some kind of price, and your players are gonna wanna obtain that weapon, and you have to kind of put it within their reach or make it possible that they can. If it's too powerful, it's expensive. That's logical. If it's something that's readily available, then it is cheaper. That's also logical. So use some kind of logic to figure out how you can put these weapons in your players' hands, how much they would have to pay, and where they would have to go to find something like that. If you look within the various core rulebooks and supplements and stuff like that for 2020 and then Red, you'll find that there are set prices for weapons, specific ones, there are stats for them and everything. You should use that as guidance to try to figure out where these weapons are. Because remember, there is market value and then there's street value. Is this a new weapon? Is it an old weapon? Is it rusted? Is it customized? Does it have some kind of fancy brand design on it? There's all kinds of factors and variables that can change the price of a weapon. And as a game master, you can use this to your advantage to tweak and change things on the fly to make sure that you can balance your game for a really powerful weapon, giving it to your players or something like that. Now your players have found the weapon that they want, whether it's a rifle or a submachine gun or a pistol or something like that. What's the next step? Well, the next step you have to realize, and this is something that the books try to emphasize really, is concealability. Now, why would you need to conceal your firearm if it is readily known that most people have guns on them? Well, the simple fact of the matter is you don't know what type of guns, you don't know how many guns, and above everything, guns just stand out. If somebody has a gun on their hip, everybody knows that that's the guy with the gun. And it's something that is within us, whether it's a security guard or police officer, our eyes go straight to it when they walk into a room or when we walk into a room and we notice them. So your players might not want to be attracting that kind of attention. They might want to lay low. And while it is assumed that the players probably have weapons, it's not really proven and they're not attracting the attention that guns would attract. On the flip side, though, sometimes you do want to attract attention. You want to intimidate people and let them know exactly what kind of gun you have. This is a Militech Big Shot 50 caliber sniper rifle wrapped on my back, and I'm walking into a place letting people know that this isn't the only gun that I have on me. Is it foolish to do that? Maybe, but maybe your players want to take that route. Maybe they want to solve the problem in that way. Next, let's talk about quality and specifications of weapons. There might be weapons out there that are far too powerful and you don't want it in your players' hands. On the flip side, there's probably weapons out there that are not that powerful and your players will have nothing to do with it. Remember, much like anything out there in the world, weapons can be customized, they can be made unique, and they can be made different from things that are out there. And because of that, their price and value will go up, or their price and value will go down if it's done poorly. Remember that your players can find some kind of fixer or some kind of techie, and if there's a weapon that they have or that they want and they can't get to it, maybe this is another option that you can give them. Now you have to remember, when you're getting a weapon, you have to ask yourself, what purpose does this weapon have? What am I going to be using it for? Do I want it for its concealability? Do I want it for its firepower? Do I want it for home defense? These are all questions that you should be asking yourself before you're purchasing the firearm, giving it to your PCs, NPCs, or making it available for people that are out there. Then you got to ask yourself, what makes this weapon valuable? Is it its quality? Is it its rarity? Is it because it's customized? Does it have some kind of logo or design on it that just ups its value by itself? These are things that you should be asking yourself as well when you're talking about the quality and specifications of a weapon. Now, finally, your players know where they can get the weapon. They know how much it costs. They know how valuable it is. They have a specific design and purpose for it. But the last piece of the puzzle is the story of the weapon. Where did this weapon come from? How was it made? Who was the person that made it? How many body bags have you guys filled up with this weapon? Does the weapon have a name? These are all things that you should be doing to give it unique characteristics. You want to change it. Remember that Cyberpunk is a game about telling stories, and even your weapon, your gear, and the people around you, the car that you drive, everything has a story. You obtained it in some way, and you're going to be keeping it and making more stories with it. Now, the last thing I'll tell you guys about guns in conclusion of it all is to remember that guns are not a toy. Guns are serious business. I mean, I'm not trying to get philosophical or anything or try to preach to you guys. I'm just telling you guys the fact that when a gun is pulled out, in whether it's in real life or in a game, the whole mood of the area changes. It becomes more serious. People are in danger. Danger is imminent. And because of that, try to remember, anytime you're playing in your games or you have your players with you and you're the game master, that when a gun is pulled out, it means something. It means something more than just lighting a cigarette or turning on a car. It means that this is serious business and somebody could die at any moment. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I got more videos down the pipeline. I am back on it. As you can see, I got a new computer, and I got it for Cyberpunk 2077 that was delayed, and I'm very sad about it. But I will be continuing to make videos, actual plays, and I got so many things coming down the pipeline. I want to thank you guys so much for being supportive, being there for me, liking my videos, subscribing, listening to the podcast, being a part of the Discord community. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.